Hello everyone, it's Carrie at Inky Bee Journals and Ephemera. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time visiting my channel, hello and welcome. And if you've been to my channel before, thank you so much for returning. I really do appreciate it. Before I get into today's video, I will just let you know that if you are hearing a whirring sound in the background of this video, I do apologize. I have my air conditioner going in this room and I kind of need to because it's quite cold here. Australia is getting into our colder months now and it's been quite cold at night here where I live. So you will hear that sound in the background. Hopefully it's not too distracting for you. It's in quite close proximity to where my table is, so I hope it's not too distracting. Okay, moving on. Today we are working on making hidden paper clips in two different ways, and these are a scrap buster idea as well as an ephemera idea. So I will be putting this video into two playlists. One playlist will be called Ephemera Ideas and the other playlist will be called Scrap Buster Ideas, and I will put a link to both of those playlists in the description box below for you. So the first type of paper clip we're going to make is this one, where it is completely hidden on both sides. You can't see the paper clip at all. So that's option number one. And option number two is this one, where you can see just a little bit of the paper clip at the top, sticking out over the top there. Now that's a personal choice thing, how you want to make them. The reason you might want to put a little bit at the top sticking out is because if you would like to add some charms, or you'd like to add a little bit of crinkle seam binding or some ribbon or lace or something like that, it's a way of attaching it. So that's another idea. So you will need some paper clips, obviously. So I've got two different sizes here today. These are the smallest I will go, and these are about 1 inch long. And this bigger one is about 2 inches long. And you can go bigger than this if you have them available to you and you'd like to make much bigger ones. So put those aside, and we'll put these aside, and we'll get started. Now, just to give you an idea of how these work, I will just show you with this journal that I'm working on at the moment. This is an old journal cover. I decided to change up the signatures that I had in it because I wasn't a fan of the way they used to be, but I've changed that now. So I'm reusing this cover, and I will give you an idea of how these work. So basically, you have this little bit, bring it up to the camera and hopefully you can see, you have this little slot at the bottom that is open, and that is where you slide your paper into, and then it works just the same as any other paper clip. It slides on the top just like that. And you can also, if you want to, slide them onto the side of your page. Why is that not connecting? It's glued itself where it shouldn't have, that's why. Okay, so you can slide them onto the side of the page as well. And imagining that, what have I got here? Imagining that we have a couple of pieces of ephemera So imagine this is a tag or something like that. You can slide it up under there to be clipped into your page, and it's the same with the side one. You can just slide it in under here like a tuck spot, and then anytime you want to move those pieces of ephemera for whatever reason to another page, you can simply take them out, take the paper clips off the page and move them to another page somewhere. So we'll move this aside and we'll get started. So I have these ready to go. So I have 3 large ones to do and 3 small ones. Now I've already I've already cut these to size, but basically you're looking for scraps. So the scraps need to be, I would suggest that you use a cardstock and or pieces of thick scrapbook paper. You might find that if you use a thinner type of paper, such as copier paper or any type of paper that is thin, what you might find happens, and I'll show you with this little one, you underneath the paper you might get the indentation of your paper clip. Now it's not the worst that can happen, because you can always cover this up with something to hide off the fact that that is showing, just like I've done on this one. This is actually a little bit of magazine paper, so it allowed the indentation to show through. So what I actually did is I covered it up with the little label here, and so you don't see that indentation anymore. So without further ado, let's get started. So in terms of glue, you can use a hot glue, you can use a fabric glue, which is what I'm using today. I have done this with art glitter glue. I would imagine something like Barely Arts glue would also work. What I would not suggest using is something like a glue stick. I also would not suggest using something like a glue gun. Glue tape runner, or double stick tape where you peel the backing off. The only reason I say that is because they may not be able to hold up to holding these together very well for very long. Double stick tape, I have learned out of experience, can have a tendency to lose its stick and fall apart over time. And if you're looking to keep your paper clips for any length of time in a journal, or to hold paperwork together or anything like that, you don't want it to fall apart on you. So I would suggest making sure that you use something fairly strong. Don't, if you can help it, don't use something that has a high water content, which sometimes school glue can have. It will bond paper and cardstock, but it can take a while to dry, but it can also really soak in and wrinkle your paper, or even potentially tear it. And again, we don't really want that to happen to our project if we can. So I'm going to use fabric glue today. So as I mentioned before, this is a scrap buster idea, so I just have some scrap pieces of card. This is actually cardstock, and this is actually scrapbook paper. So whatever you put on the inside, it doesn't have to be decorative because you're not going to see it. So if I just show you one of these, if I can open this, manage to open this up a little bit, you don't see the inside. So it's if you've got a double-sided scrapbook paper, then that's perfectly fine, but it can just be plain on the inside because you're not going to see it. You really only see the front and the back of the outer layer of scrapbook paper that you use. So, excuse me for a moment while I get sorted. So, we start off with our piece of scrapbook paper that we're going to put, cardstock that we're going to put on the inside. And we basically have our piece folded over. I've pre-cut these pieces just to save on a bit of time. So how you determine the size? Well, I just take my paper clip and I place it down like this, and then I fold over, and that's how I sort of get the size that I want in length. And I make sure that I'm leaving roughly equal amounts on either side. You don't want to leave just a really tiny short piece like that, narrow piece I mean. Try to leave a little bit more room like that. And then once we've done that, where you have your folded edge, you then put your paper clip on over this folded edge like that. Now we'll make these ones first that have the bit that stick out over the top. So you put it on, I'll do this again. So where you've got your folded edge, put your paper clip on the folded edge and bring it down, but don't bring it all the way down. Just bring it down so that you're still leaving a little bit at the top that is not against where you've got the fold line here. And then you bring in your piece that you want to cover it with. And how I determine this, again, I just take this piece and I lay it down, leaving myself a little bit of room either side of this inner piece and a little bit of room at the bottom. And then I fold it over. I'll open this to show you. So I've got a little bit either side here of the inner piece and a little bit at the bottom that is so it's a little bit bigger than the inner piece. And then I fold it over the top and I press down. And that's how I know how long and how wide I want my piece of scrap to be. The next thing we do is we need to glue this inside this piece. But before we glue, the next thing we do is we need to put a little slit in the middle of the crease line so that our paper clip can come through out the top. So I'm just going to use my finger blade for this, and you might want to get yourself a pen or a pencil, and as I said, just lay this down where you want it so that the top of your paper clip is right at the right up to where your crease line is, and just draw yourself a line across the top of where that paper clip is, and just make it as wide as the paper clip. Don't make it any wider than that, because when we put our paper clip through the top, we don't want it to slip and slide around. We want it to stay fairly stable. So then we can remove this, and we can use our craft knife to cut through that line just there. So it doesn't need to be very big. So that when we glue this down, we'll be able to put our paper clip through the top, pull it up a little bit more, and there we have our paper clip poking through that tiny little hole that we made. So the next thing we do is we need to actually glue this piece to this piece on the inside. So keeping our paper clip with that little bit over the top of the crease line, we get our glue, and I usually start at the back. So if you're not familiar, this is the back. The longest piece of your paper clip is the back. The shorter piece of your paper clip is the front. So when you're looking at it, when it's not on something, when you're looking at it like this long piece at the bottom is your back, and this short piece in the middle is your top. So I start my gluing at the back. So I'm going to get my glue, I'm going to give it a moment to come to the bottom, come to the top I should say, and you want to be, you're going to come out glue please, you want to be fairly liberal with your glue all over this cardstock. Don't be shy with your glue, because you do need a fair bit to make sure that it stays glued. And then you're actually going to put your glue right over the top of your paper clip. Like that. And then we bring our outside piece back in. We have it open, and then we can turn this over. Try to make sure that your paper clip, when you're gluing, is in the center of your inside piece and is relatively straight. And then we can place this down. It's a little bit fiddly. Put the top through the hole, making sure that when you're gluing it down, that the fold line is right up at the top of the fold line of the outer piece, and you just press that down nice and firmly. Give it a moment to set up. And the next thing we do is we glue this piece, and then we fold this down and we press that down as well. So let's go ahead and do that. Now these are a great idea if you do mass making, because once you've got the hang of these, you could be churning these out by the dozen. They're a great addition to your journal if you like to clip things to the side of your page or the top of your page. And they're decorative as well. So now we've got the glue all over our cardstock piece and all over our paper clip. We can fold this down, making sure that the paper clip is poking out the top of this hole that we put at the top, and then we can press all of that down. Just like that. While I'm doing this, I'm going to put my pin back in my glue because my air conditioner will dry that glue much quicker than it would otherwise. So you just want to make sure that this is well stuck, and then you can sit that to dry aside to dry for a little while, and we can do the next one. So once again, we have our inside piece folded over in half, and then we get our paper clip and we put that on over the top of the fold, and we bring it down, but we leave a little bit at the top that is not resting on the fold line here. We leave a little bit there. Then we turn it to the back and we glue So I do apologise for this video coming out a bit later than I intended this week. I've had a very busy week and a very busy day. But I hope everybody is well. So now we place this down on the inside of our front cover piece. Before we do that, we need to put the slit at the top, and I almost forgot. So we need to put it about there. And then we can glue this down with our paper clip. Through the hole. And it's going to be a little bit difficult with it today. Straighten that up. Press that down. I know I'm getting tired because I'm forgetting to say things, so I do apologise. Okay, now we need to glue the top of this piece and then pull the top piece down. Pull the top piece down and we can press. Now this piece is up a bit further than I'd like normally, but that doesn't matter. Just going to put the pin in my glue. Now, if you are putting pins in your glue, if you are not aware, you should use, if you can get them, you should use a stainless steel pin, because if you use regular sewing pins, although they will work, they will tend to rust, which can cause your glue to rust as well. So consider that if you want to use pins in the top of your glue bottles. So there's number 2 done. We'll do a third. So again, we have our inside piece, and we put our paper clip over the top of the fold, and we leave a little bit sticking up at the top that isn't against the fold line. Then we get our second piece, which is our outer piece. We place this down in the middle, and we draw ourselves a line to fit our paper clip through. Cut along this line to create the slit for our paper clip to go through. And let's just make sure that it's big enough, and it is. Make sure your paper clip is in the center of your inside piece. Glue all over this inside piece, and we glue over the paper clip as well. Then we can place this on the inside of our outer piece, placing the paper clip through the hole, making sure that the fold of the inside piece is against the fold of the outside piece. And then we press that down. Just to help that set up. Making sure that you are keeping your paper clip in the center and not sitting crookedly if you can help it. And then we can glue on this piece again. Remembering to glue over the top of your paper clip as well. And then we fold down and we press that together. How much of the paper clip you have sitting out over the top is up to you. There's no real rules as to how much you have to put at the top. So that's really up to you. So there's our third one. Now, as you can see, if you look at the way these are done, this one is fairly high. This one is less than this one, but a little more than this one. So I've got 3 heights there in which it's sticking up. It really doesn't matter. It just depends maybe the size of what you want to dangle on there. So to make these smaller ones, we're going to make it so that like this, it's completely hidden so we don't see the paper clip at the top at all. The process is almost the same. So we have our inside piece that we have folded over, and again we place our paper clip down on the fold, but this time we push it all the way down so the top of the paper clip is all the way down to the fold line. Then we open up our outer piece and we glue down, we glue all over, I should say. We glue all over the cardstock. Remembering to put plenty of glue down because we need to make sure it sticks, and remembering also to glue over the top of your paper clip. Then when we place this down, we place it down, making sure that the fold line on our inside piece with the paper clip is against the fold line of the outer piece. Making sure that we place it in the center and that our paper clip is as centered as we can manage. And we press that down and give it a moment to set up. And then we glue on this piece again. Remembering to glue over the top of your paper clip. And then we fold down once again. And when we fold over, we need to make sure that we're getting these sides and this bottom as even as we can. If you have a little bit of overhang, that is okay, because you can just get your scissors and just cut any excess overhang off. And then we have a completely hidden paper clip. So we'll let that one dry and we'll do a second. So we have our inner piece that has been folded over, and we put our paper clip on over the top of that folded edge, and we bring it all the way down so that the top of the paper clip is resting on that folded edge in the center. Then we flip it and we glue remembering to glue over the top of your paper clip. Then we open our outer piece, place this in the center, making sure that the fold of the inside piece is against the fold of the outside piece, and we have it in the center so that we have some either side and some at the bottom, and we press that down. Now this piece of scrapbook paper is probably the thinnest I will go. It's thicker obviously than say copier paper, but it is not quite thick enough to be cardstock in my mind. So once we've got that stuck, we then glue over this piece again. Remembering to be fairly liberal with your glue. And glue over the top of your paper clip. And then we fold down. And we press. Now you will find when you fold this over that it will be a little bit bulky at the top, but that's okay. And just press down, making sure everything's well bonded together. So there's the second one done. And we'll do one more. So we have our little scrap and our little paper clip, and we're going to put that over the folded edge in the center all the way down until the top of the paper clip is resting on that folded edge. Then we can turn it over and we can glue the back remembering to glue over the top of our paper clip. Then we can open our outer piece, place the inside piece down in the center, pressing firmly and holding it for a moment, making sure that the fold line of the inside piece is right up against the fold line of this outside piece. And then we can glue this piece. And then we can fold down and we can just press that. Put the pin back in the glue. Give that a moment to set up. And there's our third hidden paper clip. Now, as far as decorations are concerned, I won't be decorating these anymore today because I might decorate them up more as I know what I'm putting them in. You can, if you like, just leave them as they are. If you like the pattern that you've used on the outer piece, you might not want to add anything else, but if you want to, you can. I am not going to do that today. I will decorate them as I go to use them more. But what I will do, just to show you, if you can leave these like this at the bottom if you want to, but you can also round the bottom, or you can put an angle on the bottom if you want to. Now, you can use, if you've got enough space between where your paper clip is and where the corner is, you might be able to use one of these type of things, and this is a three-way paper rounder. Sorry, a three-way corner rounder paper punch. I will leave a description in the I will leave a link in the description box below for one of these, as I will for some glue and for the finger blade if you are interested. Now, I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to choose this. I might use the bigger one. Use the biggest setting in the bottom. So I'm turning this over, and so you can see the three different sizes you have available. I'm going to use the biggest one. So I'm going to put the corner in through this slot here until this corner is in the corner of the triangle underneath here, and then punch. And I'm going to do the same on this other corner here and punch. If you are facing it upwards like that, you will find that those little pieces will often fly all over the place, so just be careful. And there you have a rounded bottom. You can do the same thing with an angle cutter. So this works exactly the same. This is a three-way angle cutter. And again, I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to pick the largest one and I'm going to punch just like that. I've got little pieces flying all over the place. Just be careful with your eyes when you do that. So there you go. There's your angle cut. So you can always leave them just as they are. I do suggest, however, anytime you decide to do something like this on the bottoms, if you are using punches like that, please wait until your glue has set up enough for you to do that, because you will have trouble using your glue, using your paper punch otherwise. If it is too difficult to get into your paper punch, it's because your layers are too thick and you may not be able to do it with your paper punch, in which case you can do it by hand or using a template. So I'll use these once again if I can manage to do it, and I'll use the smallest one for these ones. Right, that's worked for that one. And see if I can do rounded bottom for this one. So there we have three with the tops sticking out, and we have three that are completely hidden. So have a go at these. They're really not difficult to make once you've got the hang of them. As I said, you'll be churning them out by the dozen. And they're really useful to have in your journals and things, or in your office supplies. And they're a little bit different to just having a standard paper clip on its own like this. So I will put links in the description box below for the finger blade, for some glue, for these paper punches, as well as for this bone folder if you are interested in that. This comes actually as a set of 4 different ones. This one is an ergonomical one and is really handy for those of us with bad hands. I have arthritis, and this just makes life a bit easier. It's a little bit less taxing than using the other style like these. These ones can be a bit harder on my hands. So I'll leave a link to this as well. If you liked this video, please consider giving me a thumbs up. If you have not already, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell so that YouTube can send you a notification each time I upload new videos for you. And until next time, I hope you have a lovely day. Please stay safe and happy crafting. Bye.